not recognised as official fixtures, but a lovely gesture and indeed honour for Frank Sue's family tonight. The teams are just getting ready for the start of the match. The team photographs are taking place. We're going to keep you right across Scotland, Greece as well tonight, that World Cup qualifier at Hampden, so regular visits there. But England against Wales has got a bit of history about it. One of the oldest internationals, dates back to 1879. And we are all set for what will be England's first match of the season here at Wembley Stadium. Just Thomas Tuchel's third match as the England head coach here. World Cup qualifiers to come for both of these teams next week. England are nearly there with qualification. Wales have still got work to do, and they've got that crunch match in Belgium, in Cardiff on Monday. You'll be able to hear that on 5 Live, Monday night, 7:45. But England, this team, just 4 changes from Belgrade last month. Thomas Tuchel looking to continue the good work there. And Wales will attempt to win at Wembley against England for the first time for almost half a century, since 1977. England with Pickford in goal, a back four of Konsa, Stones, Gay and Spence. John Stones' first appearance under Thomas Tuchel. Elliot Anderson in midfield, so Elliot Anderson starting at Wembley for the first time for England. Jed Spence at left back, starting for the first time for England in a senior shirt. Morgan Rogers and Rice either side of Anderson, so Declan Rice the captain. Then Bukayo Saka, Ollie Watkins in the absence of Harry Kane, and Anthony Gordon the front line. And Wales with Carl Darlow in goal, Nico Williams, Joe Rodon, Ben Davies the captain, and Jay De Silva. Ben Davies winning his 99th cap tonight. Then in midfield, Liam Cullen and Ethan Ampadu. Nico Williams, incidentally, his 50th cap. Then Brennan Johnson, Harry Wilson and David Brooks behind the Wrexham centre forward, the towering figure of Kiefer Moore. So we're almost ready for the start. Stephen Warnock, who went to the World Cup with England, and Danny Ward, who went to the World Cup with Wales, are sitting in between me and Ian Dennis, and it's England who are going to get us underway. The Swiss referee, Urs Schneider, blows his whistle, and the ball immediately played back to Jordan Pickford, who fires it away downfield. And then Elliot Anderson is dispossessed, and David Brooks will burst forward for Wales, their first attack. They're going gung-ho, but Mark Gay's able to step in and make the challenge.
Yeah, brilliant first header from Ben Davies, and then Elliot Anderson just a little bit slow on the ball. Good from David Brooks. And what we do know about Craig Bellamy's teams is that they are set up to play front foot football. They won't come here and be scared. They'll try and attack this England team. Let
me tell you, Stephen, that Craig Bellamy made that abundantly clear to us last night, that that's what Wales would do here, play their own game. Pickford playing the ball up towards Bukayo Saka, returning to the England team after missing the September international, so a 45th cap for him. Still plenty of people coming into Wembley Stadium. I mean, it is a 7:45 kickoff in northwest London, sometimes not the easiest to get to, so still dozens and dozens of people taking their seats. It is a sellout tonight. Anthony Gordon for England in the white shirts with the blue trim, blue shorts and white socks, plays the ball all the way across the field to Bukayo Saka. A run from Morgan Rogers into the box, drags it back. Rogers angling it back, looking for Gordon on his right foot. Gordon's ball across the face of goal. I think it took a little deflection there, it did, on its way wide. I think it was going wide anyway, but it is a corner for England, and some nice interplay, reminiscent already of Belgrade.
Yeah, really positive start there from England. I think it's a really smart save from Carl Darlow in the Wales goal. He just puts out a right foot, just does enough to push it round the post, but lovely interplay from Anthony Gordon, originally switching the play, and then he gets himself involved again. As I say, John, a really good save from Carl Darlow.
Yeah, I thought Madueke was very good in both internationals last month, but he's on the injured list. But Bukayo Saka comes in, not a bad replacement.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Here's Rice then with the first corner of the match, standing with all of those Wales fans behind him, doing their best to put him off. Swings it in very deep. John Stones heads it down into the penalty area. It's actually kept in by Gay, and then the shot is turned in from the edge of the 6-yard box, and Morgan Rogers has scored his first goal for England. Great moment for him. He's really flourished under the management of Thomas Tuchel. And as it was played back to him, right foot, slight angle, through a crowded 6-yard box, into the back of the goal. And England have scored in the 3rd minute, 1-0, Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, huge claps, huge celebrations from the head coach Thomas Tuchel, and rightly so, because it's a set piece that England look like they've worked on. The long ball to the back post, John Stones wins the initial header. Now Morgan Rogers will get all the praise, but it's all about the work from Mark Gahey. The Wales defence switch off. They think the ball's probably going to run out of play. Ben Davies puts his arms up as if to say, no, all good. He switches off. Mark Gahey doesn't. He's alive to the situation, keeps it in play. Smart pullback, a really good finish from Morgan Rogers. First time, just sweeps it past Karl Darlow. 1-0 England.
And Morgan Rogers scoring his first goal for the England senior team on his 9th appearance. I've had a feeling that goal was coming for him, Morgan Rogers, because he's so positive, isn't he? But Wales trying to respond now. Craig Bellamy's side having conceded an early goal, and back it goes centrally. The angled pass from Ampadu is going all the way over the top and through for a goal kick. So Danny Ward, I'm afraid I'm going to have to bring you in for the first time during the game, immediately after Wales conceding the opening goal.
Yeah, second phase from a corner, it goes down to that old ode of, the space doesn't score, it's the man who scores a goal. So yeah, a couple of players switching off in the box, but take nothing away from Gahey keeping the ball alive, and it's a really tidy finish from Rogers.
Yeah, excellent work from the two central defenders, really, Stones and Gahey, pivotal in the creation of that goal for Morgan Rogers. So England already off and running, and indeed scoring in a 17th consecutive international, which is the first time they've done that since 1990-91. And
John, that'll drive Craig Bellamy mad. You don't mind getting cut open, you don't mind England scoring a wonder goal or a really clever goal, but from a set piece and a player switching off, is that a little bit of rustiness from Ben Davies? Is it a lack of communication in the back line? And that is something that Craig Bellamy, when he's setting his team up and thinking about how he wants them to play, he can't legislate for that.
So England 1, Wales 0. It is still Scotland 0, Greece 0 in the World Cup qualifier at Hampden. A little earlier in Group G, which is the Netherlands group, Finland won 2-1 against Lithuania. So Finland now up to 10 points, which is the same mark as Netherlands, Poland in that group. We'll keep you across all of the matches tonight. Belarus-Denmark also being played in Scotland's group. But 0-0 at Hampden, 1-0 to England here. Here's Jed Spence, chosen to start for the first time for England. The Tottenham man on the overlap, but it's Anthony Gordon who receives it from him. Then he plays it back to Elliot Anderson, third cap after really impressing in that midfield role in the 2 matches last month. The Nottingham Forest midfielder. There's a lovely article about him in the match programme tonight, which the chairman of the famous Wallsend Boys Club points out that now 92, he's one of 92 players who've come through the Wallsend Boys Club and gone on to a professional club.
Wow. Incredible, isn't it? I watched him at the weekend away at Newcastle, and he was absolutely superb. The only blot on his performance was giving a penalty away. I just wondered where him and Declan Rice will play today, and Declan Rice has been so good playing higher up in that position, and it is Elliot Anderson who's sat deep, and Declan Rice is just being able to advance a little bit further. So we'll just keep an eye on that relationship between the two players.
Referee just bringing play back for a late challenge on Nico Williams near the halfway line, and it is a free kick, no more than that. I think it was Spence, wasn't it, who just caught him. So it's a free kick to Wales on the halfway line. A friendly match tonight, friendly international, so there is the possibility of each manager making 6 changes. Craig Bellamy on the edge of his coaching area, seems to be a sort of bomber jacket that he's wearing tonight, Craig Bellamy, for what is his 13th match as the Wales manager. Lost only 2 of them, but they are 2 of the last 3. Friendly against Canada last month, a much changed team lost that match, and then the dramatic topsy-turvy 4-3 defeat to Belgium in the World Cup qualifying group at the end of last season. Belgium coming to Cardiff on Monday night, and Anthony Gordon in possession. So for Wales, really the preparation for that match all important. Spence now to Gordon again, and then in comes the tackle from Williams to put it behind for another corner. So watch out, Wales, same side that they scored from.
Yeah, lively down that left-hand side. I often wonder what you would do if you had Anthony Gordon in front of you, and Jed Spence has overlapped him at will. He's made sure that he's give Anthony Gordon a little bit of a helping hand down that left, because I often think just leave Anthony Gordon to it. He's so good in 1v1 situations. You don't want to nullify that space that he has.
In Group H, Austria 1-0 up on San Marino. So corner again. Declan Rice moves across. White boots. The England captain. Captained England for the first time, Declan Rice, when he won his 50th England cap. Tonight it's his 69th. So Rice waiting again. One foot in front of the other. Left arm raised. This time it's a near post delivery. Two Wales players go for it. It's deflected back to Rice, who gets it all wrong on his left foot and slices it straight over the top, straight behind for a goal kick. 1-0 England. Morgan Rogers the scorer.
Yeah, it was like one of Ian Dennis's goal shots. That shanked it left and wide. It was horrible from Declan Rice as it came back out, but that was a missed opportunity because they had men in the middle there, England, and a couple of the Wales players had hit the deck, and it was a simple cross for him, but it got horribly wrong.
5 Live from the BBC. If you're on the move, you can listen to 5 Live on the BBC Sounds app. We are on air 5 Live Sport tonight till 10 o'clock. But during Tony Livesey's programme, whatever reaction that we haven't brought you, we will bring in Tony's programme, which of course will have more on the major news events of the time from 10 o'clock. But here is Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side. Gordon threading it through to the edge of the box to Declan Rice, pushing forward as Stephen Warnock has described from his midfield role in the Arsenal style. Then back to the sitting midfielder, Elliot Anderson. And now Declan Rice again in possession. Spence makes the run, but Rice doesn't make the pass, just goes back again to the halfway line. Now it does find its way to Spence in the right-back position. He's up against Williams there. Then back to Rice. His ball in, flicks off the head of Rodon, which takes it up and over the top of the Welsh crossbar for another England corner. Austria now 2-0 up on San Marino.
Yeah, everything that's good at the moment is coming down the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon again with Jed Spence working the opportunity for a cross, and then they find Declan Rice in acres of space because the players are being drawn towards Spence and Gordon. But it's constant pressure at the moment for England. Wales just can't get any rhythm into the game, can't find any patterns of play or passes and complete the passes to get themselves out of that pressure.
And England, with just the 4 changes from the Serbia performance, have certainly in the early stages managed to find that continuity that Thomas Tuchel was looking for, and of course the early goal always helps. Declan Rice then to take this corner, this one from the right hand side. It's a low one in, the shot is blocked from Watkins. There are a crowd of Welsh players all in red who blocked that. Back to Rice, right-footed ball to the back post. That's a stretch and a header away by Rodon. Comes out to Bukayo Saka. He's on his left foot there. He has the cross into the penalty area. Watkins got a touch, brought down to the back post by Rogers, played right across the face of goal and in at the back post by Ollie Watkins. He took it on his body and it bounced down. I mean, he was a yard out. He could hardly miss. The only question is whether he might be offside, but there's no flag yet. And Ollie Watkins in for Harry Kane has made it 2-0 inside the first 11 minutes.
Yeah, well, a dream for Ollie Watkins, the easiest of tap-ins for him at the back post. But the one thing you'd say from Craig Bellamy's point of view is, if you were said before the game you're going to come under pressure from crosses, can your centre-backs and defenders deal with those situations? You'd have said, yeah, we can win those headers. England have just put 3 crosses into the box and they found it very difficult to deal with the situation. They win the first one initially, but as it comes to the back post, it's a simple cross back across goal, and Ollie Watkins, unattended, completely on his own, gets it on a plate from his teammate Morgan Rogers, and it's the simplest of tap-ins. It's not even a yard out, it's half a yard. He's virtually on the line. Nico Williams messes it up at the back post. Watkins with the simplest of tap-ins.
There's just a little glance, isn't there, off the head of Mark Gay, and play has not restarted yet. And I did wonder whether when Gay glanced it with his head, whether Watkins... No, hang on. Still, we haven't restarted. In fact, he's telling Bukayo Saka to come back into his own half. Yeah, goal is confirmed. 2-0 England. So Rogers and Watkins, Ollie Watkins scoring on his return to the England starting lineup. Harry Kane, up to this point, has started all of the matches under Thomas Tuchel, but is out with that bruised foot. So Ollie Watkins, making his first start under Thomas Tuchel, scores a goal in his 20th appearance. In the other World Cup qualifiers, Cyprus 0, Bosnia-Herzegovina 1, and Austria now 3-0 up on San Marino. So already 2-0 to England. What about Scotland in the World Cup qualifier at Hampden? Gavin Wallace.
0-0 at the moment, John, 11 on the clock, but Greece a really good chance. It's very similar to the goal that Watkins has just scored where you are. Bakasetas with this tantalising ball across the corridor of doubt. Pavlidis just could not get it right, and Pat Nevin, he just got his feet all wrong. He should have scored.
At this point in time, it's not the Hampden roar, it's the Hampden mumble up here. Scotland are second best by a long way. Scotland have to get a foothold in this game because they're 0-0 and they're very lucky to be only 0-0.
Scotland 0, Greece 0, John.
Yes, and we'll keep you fully across that. If you want to watch it, you can see it now on the BBC iPlayer, BBC Sport website and app. So it is available to watch that match if you're on your way home, or I suppose wherever you are. England winning 2-0 and another half chance. In fact, it was probably more than a half chance. Saka breaking through, but it was deflected behind. And it is another corner to England. Rice from the right-hand side, an out swinger, which is headed down and away and then hooked away by Wilson, but straight into Anderson, and it bounces back and through for a goal kick. But I thought Saka might have been in there.
Yeah, it was really good recovery from the Wales players, and Joe Rondon got across and got the tackle in, but it was the play in midfield, and Thomas Tuchel was applauding because the press was so strong from England. Cullen tried to play it round the corner, and England pounced on it, and then a couple of passes and they were in at the back line of Wales, causing them more problems.
It's been another word from Danny Ward as well if we get a chance, although England have just won it back. Saka, then to Rodgers, now back to Saka. He's got some space here. Saka now running at the Wales defence, left-footed ball into the back post. That's headed away and then further away by Ben Davies, where Ezri Konsa, back at right back, is just clipped by David Brooks and goes down. So what about it, Danny, now?
Yeah, Wales just can't seem to get out their own half at the minute. Really disappointing second goal again, very similar to the first one. Something which this team has prided itself on for a number of years has been having that stability and solidity at set pieces. So yeah, I'm sure the manager will be really frustrated with the two goals.
Yeah, England 2, Wales 0. Rodgers and Watkins, two of the 3 Aston Villa men in the England starting lineup. Back it goes to Gay, and then it's flicked of the fashion. I'm not sure quite how he did that, John Stones. It was behind him. He stuck out a leg behind him, flicked it with his heel, and managed to find the pass to Ezri Konsa.
Yeah, just
do that again if you can.
It was lovely, and John Stones has got that natural ability to pull off those type of little flicks and the quality that he possesses. But just looking at Wales, John, if the press is so good from England, you've got Kiefer Moore up top, brilliant at holding the ball up, brilliant at bringing other people into play. Just miss the press out for 5 or 10 minutes, make England back off a little bit, make the change that press in midfield, and I think Craig Bellamy might just have to have a little look at how they're playing here, Wales.
Yeah, Elliot Anderson now with a run through the middle, but runs into trouble. Challenge comes in on him, and it bounces back to Declan Rice in the centre circle. Liam Cullen it was who put the challenge in to stop Anderson, but now it's with Saka on the right hand side trying to pass it forward. Brooks is back in there, it might bounce for Rodgers, left foot shot, but lacked the power this one from just inside the area. Left foot was sort of twisting as he hit it with his left foot low, and Carl Darlow was able to deal with it comfortably.
Yeah, he probably made the wrong decision there, Morgan Rodgers, but because he's already had an influence on this game, scored a goal, had an assist, he's thinking there's another opportunity for me. But Anthony Gordon was the pass on the edge of the box. He was in a better position, was set for the shot. Wales again, the architects of their own downfall.
Yeah, and now England again, Kiefer Moore having to come back and challenge Elliot Anderson. England are just all over them. You know, this is very like Serbia in Belgrade, the England performance, where right from the outset England just smothered the opponents. Saka now out to the left hand side, Spencer's onto this on his right foot, curls it in. Gordon tries to get a flick. Rodon though was able to get his right foot to it to clear it away, and now Nico Williams down in the right back area just puts it out of play for a throw further up the line. In Scotland's group, Denmark are winning, Belarus 0, Denmark 1. It is still Scotland 0, Greece 0. Denmark and Scotland level at the top of that table with 4 points. Also Netherlands are winning. Cody Gakpo of Liverpool has scored. Malta 0, Netherlands 1, and Faroe Islands are winning 1-0 against Montenegro in Group L, as England have a throw. What's happened there? I was looking down at the scores.
I think it's just a handball.
Okay.
By one of the England players. Yeah, but I just think the movement of England at the moment, I'm watching Anthony Gordon and Jed Spence, and I know I've mentioned them a couple of times, but Anthony Gordon so often darting in field to make sure that he becomes a second number 10 or another striker, and it's just leaving so much space on the wing for Jed Spence. So the movement at the moment between the players, they're on the same wavelength, which is absolutely ideal for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, and the early goals make all the difference, don't they? As Rodgers turns away on the halfway line. Didn't have the best of starts to the season, did he? Morgan Rodgers, who's now being pulled back by Liam Cullen, and that is a free kick in the central third of the field. But Villa are just warming up, aren't they? One of your old clubs, winning their last 4 matches, and certainly for England, he, as I've suggested, you know, he's really clicked under Thomas Tuchel, hasn't he?
Oh, he certainly has. We know the capabilities of Morgan Rodgers, and it just you put him in and around other great quality players, and it brings the best out of you. Sometimes players raise the levels when they go away with England, and he seems to be one of those players. But as you say, John, Villa picking up form, and I'm sure Unai Emery will be delighted to see 2 of the Villa players on the score sheet already.
Yep, Ollie Watkins, his 6th goal for England, winning his 20th cap tonight. Our old friend Terry Butcher always used to say, you are eventually settled in the international team when you reach 20 caps. As Konza has it on the right-hand side. This is his 15th. Then forward to Bukayo Saka, very much part of the England furniture. That is competitive, isn't it? Saka and Madueke on the right-hand side.
It's brilliant, and it's exactly what you want. I mean, they've got it at club level, they've
country.
Also got it at country, so it's ideal, and they'll continue to drive it. Brilliant from Anthony Gordon.
Play, Anthony Gordon away from Williams, down the left-hand side. He's got space now, the Newcastle man on the left wing, into the penalty area. Wales have got bodies back, but here's Elliot Anderson in the D, left foot shot, but that's blocked. Bounces straight back to Rice. Again, England are all over Wales here. Out to Saka, he's in the area on the right-hand side. Left foot curling shot! It's a cracker from Bukayo Saka to make it 3-0. Down he goes onto his knees, surrounded by his England teammates. Wales just cannot live with England in this opening 20 minutes. 3-0 now.
Oh, just brilliant all round from Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side, who drops his shoulder, leaves Nico Williams for dead, and then he almost looks like he's overrun the ball. He finds the edge of the penalty area, and they feed it out to Bukayo Saka, and then he gets himself in a 1v1 situation. Now, if you didn't know what the goal looked like, you would say he's going to come inside on his left foot and it's going to be predictable, but how do you stop it? And it's exactly what we see week in, week out in the Premier League. Looks like he's going down onto his right foot, drives inside. David Brooks can't get anywhere near him, and he just sets it outside the far left-hand post, and it curls beautifully into the top corner. Karl Darlow's diving. He shouldn't dive, there's no point, he's getting nowhere near it. It's an unstoppable strike from Bukayo Saka. So comfortable for England.
We say it so often with Bukayo Saka when he scores goals like that. Everyone knows that that's what he's capable of, but stopping him doing it seems remarkably difficult on such a regular basis.
It is, because he's got that change of pace, and then there's the fear about, well, if I overcompensate and show him inside, then he's going to run me the line, because he's got that ability as well. And that's what you have to do as a winger, keep your fullback, keep the wide man of the opposition team guessing, and he does it so well.
And Danny Ward, I'm afraid Wales just getting pulled from pillar to post.
They are. Listen, it's an unbelievable bit of skill and a fantastic finish from Saka, but I think it sort of sums up the first 20 minutes or so of this game. You know, Wales just seem that half a yard off it when they're going to press England, and you give players like this a bit of time and space and they're going to punish you, and it just shows with a goal there from Saka.
Denmark are now 2-0 up against Belarus. That match has been playing in Hungary. Rasmus Højlund scored, Stephen. He's
on fire.
He's finding goals for Napoli, and now he scores for Denmark. And it is still Scotland 0, Greece 0. Free kick, and England are just taking a breather here, but what a first 20 minutes. Looks very like Wales are already on the way to losing what would be an 8th consecutive match against England over the years, since 1984. when England were beaten in the old home internationals at the racecourse ground in Wrexham, when Mark Hughes, on his debut, scored the only goal of that match. And England with the ball at the back. We're going to make another trip to Hampden and Gavin Wallace, and when you come back it'll be Ian Dennis.
Excellent. Well, it's still 0-0. We'll let you get away then, John. 21 minutes on the clock. But Pat, Scotland really struggling, not a lot of possession, and we've identified an issue with where Gannon Doak is playing right now.
Yeah, Doak's playing on the left-hand side, but he goes by his man, and he's not his greatest in his left foot though, so he started coming inside. Need him using his pace going forward. Up until 3 minutes ago, 80% possession for the visitors here at Hampden Park. That's not what the fans are wanting.
No, we're getting battered at the moment at Hampden Park. Deno, it's Scotland 0, Greece 0.
Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Pat. Well, Craig Bellamy said if you were a boxing promoter, you would not put Wales up against England. Stephen, if you were a boxing referee, you'd be looking to halt the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Wales are up against the ropes, aren't they? They're almost on an 8 count at the moment, or a 9 count. They're really suffering. My point was going to be, when we come back into the game, was what's Craig Bellamy's approach now? Because it's one of those situations where if it continues this way, the game against Belgium now, you've got a group of players who are massively down on confidence, and how do you go into that game? So this is a really tough ask for Wales now, both mentally and physically.
You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. 24 minutes played. It is worth pointing out, though, that when Wales did play Belgium in June, they were 3-0 down inside 27 minutes. They did get back to 3-3 before Kevin De Bruyne scored a late winner in a 4-3 victory for Belgium. But at the minute, Danny, we haven't seen anything of Wales as an attacking force.
No, it's because they've not had the ball. It's as simple as that. You know, they've not had the chance to go through the patterns and the progressions through the pitch, because England have suffocated everything at the top end of the pitch. So yeah, been a really difficult first opening 24 minutes for Wales. Certainly up against it now, but now is a time where you'll probably see what certain players are about, I guess.
That's the Wales goalkeeper Danny Ward, also in the company of Stephen Warnock. Austria now leads San Marino by 3-0 as England, in their white shirts and navy shorts, playing from left to right. And there'll be, I wonder how many of those 6,500 to 7,000 travelling support who are thinking, should we leave now and head off down the M4 and get away early?
Yeah, and I know Pat was talking about Scotland and the percentage of play in their game. Well, England have had 78% of the possession, and Wales have had, 22%, but all of Wales' possession has been across the back line. Whenever it's gone into midfield, they've been pressed, they've been hurried. I don't really think Kiefer Moore has had a touch. I think he's flicked maybe 2 balls on, and that is it. He just can't get in the game at all.
Kiefer Moore, of course, back at Wembley. It was his error when he was here in the playoff final that led to Sunderland's winning goal and ultimately promotion to the Premier League. I wonder what was going through his mind as he walked back into this famous stadium, as he now, in the red of Wales, as they play from right to left, see England pass the ball across at the back. But there's a fluency about England, Stephen, the way that they're passing. I mean, Thomas Tuchel's talked a great deal about continuity, looking to build on that statement win against Serbia in Belgrade. And they haven't, I think they've only had one full training session since they arrived at St George's Park on Monday, but they have been able to carry on that theme.
Yeah, sometimes you click with a player and you get a relationship with them straight away. When you've got John Stones at the back, the way he plays out, the vision, I mean, he's just played a reverse ball into Ollie Watkins, fired it into the middle, but the relationship between Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson is superb. Both of them want the ball. The movement off it to allow the 2 centre-backs to get on the ball is absolutely perfect, and England are just so comfortable at the moment.
Gordon was caught late by Nico Williams. Nico Williams is going to get a yellow card here. He responded and almost went to confront the Swiss referee Urs Schneider. Just snapped in and caught Gordon late. Gordon, who was attacking, and still Nico Williams is complaining to the referee. Don't think he can have many complaints, can he?
No, I'm just waiting to see it on the TV monitor in front of us. He said, I didn't touch him, and I'm just wondering, well, Anthony Gordon, Does he really need to go down in that situation? We'll see it again on our monitors. Just catches his right foot as Anthony Gordon releases the ball. Sometimes when you think that you've played the ball, you've actually played the boot. Similar sensation in your own foot, but again, this is a really dangerous position now for Wales, conceding the free kick in where they have.
So England lead by 3-0. It is a free kick which is left of centre. It's 24 yards out. That you can see through the markings of the way that the grass is cut here at Wembley Stadium. A slow hand clap, just slowly but building up the anticipation as Declan Rice, captaining England for the second time in his career. First time was against Belgium, what was his 50th cap back in March 2024. Remember those special free kicks that he scored for Arsenal in the Champions League? He's eyeing this one up now. Karl Darlow might not get the best of views as Declan Rice hits it, and in the end it whistles over the crossbar. And I think Darlow was probably relieved to see that one flash wide, Danny, because he wouldn't have had a good view of that, I doubt.
No, and like you said, we've seen in previous years, the quality Declan Rice has got from a dead ball situation. Thankfully for Wales, he's not pounded on the misery there and put that one in the top corner like he has done.
That fine goal from Bukayo Saka as well is a little bit of history for him as well too, because he's now Arsenal's highest scorer for England with 13 goals. He's overtaken the 12 netted by Cliff Bastin. So Bukayo Saka with his 13th goal on his 45th appearance, and it was his first since he scored against Switzerland back in July. England are extremely comfortable. They are in full control here in this friendly. As Konsa playing at right back, it's in a little bit of a tangle along with Anderson, and Wales through Moore are able to dig the ball out towards Brennan Johnson, holds on to it, plays it back. Ampadu inside the centre circle. Wales are in all red, playing from right to left as we approach the half-an-hour point here at Wembley Stadium, and then Rodon out towards Williams at right back, and then back towards the central defender once again. And this is possibly the first time where Wales have actually had a sustained spell of the ball.
Yeah, and Brennan Johnson received the ball in a decent position high up the pitch, and I think there was just an element of, no, we need to retain it, we need to keep hold of it, take a little bit of pressure off ourselves, because if we continue to turn the ball over, this could be, I know it's going to be a long night for Wales anyway, but it could feel even longer.
Davis went to go down the line on this near side, the left. England with the interception, and then Bukayo Saka was fouled. It will be a free kick for England. So Wales, who have that key game at a sellout Cardiff City Stadium on Monday night against Belgium, as I just watched Craig Bellamy protest to the fourth official, and then England will play 24 hours later. We'll actually have commentary of that with Alistair Bruce Ball and Dave Edwards on Monday night here on 5 Live, and then Matt Upson will join us out in Riga. But England could be in a position to actually book their place with that game in Riga. Could seal qualification depending on the result between Serbia and Albania at the weekend. Wales, though, still have a lot of work to do, and in fact their games tomorrow in Group J are Kazakhstan against Liechtenstein and Belgium against North Macedonia, the two teams who actually stand above Wales in that group. As Saka collects the ball up against De Silva. Saka running back midway through the Wales half, back towards Konsa, gives it back towards the Arsenal player, looks to try and wrap it in early. Interception from Wales. Kiefer Moore lays it off towards Brooks. Brooks has Konsa putting him under pressure, goes back towards the Wales captain Ben Davies and across that penalty area, and then Rodon towards Karl Darlow. Couldn't hesitate there, all in green, as it's then lifted forward by Rodon, and then Harry Wilson can't get there first, and Mark Gay here will just tidy up for England, who resume control.
Yeah, just on the halfway line in his technical area, Thomas Tuchel claps above his head as if to say that press is outstanding, and here's Anthony Gordon on the left again.
Gordon's been lively, but he just overruns it, and it will go out for a goal kick to Wales. Well, the message was clear from Thomas Tuchel: you deserve to keep your place, and so far his decision has been vindicated.
Yeah, it absolutely has, and the point I was going to make before Anthony Gordon broke down the left was the traps England are setting. you can see there's a real togetherness and understanding of what the system is that Thomas Tuchel wants to play. Every time a Wales player picks the ball up, they're under pressure, the head's down, the pass is difficult. If it's played into midfield, they're getting hurried. It's very, very difficult for them to have time and space on the ball, and that's exactly what you want. We often talk about creating a Premier League tempo at international level. This is not far off it.
Ball is hit long by Ampadu. Spence on his first start for England will head it away. Ball picked up though by Nico Williams for Wales on that far side, the right, midway through the England half. Goes infield, Ampadu looks to thread it through, but England will stop it with Konsa, who just turns and plays it back towards Pickford. And Pickford all in yellow. Jordan Pickford, who's looking to create his own bit of history tonight with what would be an 8th successive clean sheet, would beat his own record and also that of Gordon Banks, although he almost let in Harry Wilson there with a heavy touch, but was able to play the ball forward, and Anderson now can just trot towards the halfway line. Probably just showed too much of the ball to Wilson that he would have liked.
He took a big risk there, Jordan Henderson. It was almost like he got his feet trapped and he couldn't make his mind up which pass he wanted to play. A little bit fortunate.
Here is Gordon, infield towards Watkins. Back it goes to the Newcastle player. Ball inside. This is Declan Rice midway through the Wales half. Curls it out towards his Arsenal teammate. Bukayo Saka controls it on that left foot of his. Dances his way down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Tries to play it in low. Blocked. Comes out towards Konsa. Anderson gets a touch. Stones. Every outfield player is in the Wales half and in there that almost final third. Anderson comes forward, finds Gordon. Gordon tries to wriggle his way through. Saka wants to take over, takes it away off the toes, but with his back to goal. Wales defending deep, and it's all England at the moment as they lead by 3-0 with 33 minutes played. And then England will go back. Gahey outside the centre circle to Spence, and we'll nip back to Hampden and Gavin Wallace.
Still 0-0 at the moment, Ian. Scotland though really struggling. Actually, Pat Nevin, one of the stats that we found, 25 minutes in, Scotland had made 53 passes to 151. That's 2 per minute, and that shows you how much under pressure they are.
Yeah, they just can't get hold of the ball in the midfield, and that's imperative you get that international football. They're trying to get Doak into the game so he can run at the defender, but they just cannot get good ball in the last third. Scotland are not as bad as they were for the first 20 minutes, but still struggling.
Scotland 0, Greece 0, Ian.
Mark Gahey's just been booked for a foul on Kiefer Moore as Austria have got a 4th goal against San Marino in Group H.
He just tried to overplay there a little bit. Mark Gahey didn't realise that Kiefer Moore was as close to him as he was, and good pressure from Kiefer Moore, but it was a little bit sloppy from England in midfield. It was the first time in a while that we'd seen Wales overturn the ball. Now there's an opportunity, it's maybe a little bit central, but an opportunity to put England under a little bit of pressure from a set piece, hit the likes of Kiefer Moore and Rodon and Ben Davies at the back post, and try and cause England a different type of problem.
Ethan Ampadu is the player who stands over this free kick for Wales. Just takes it short towards De Silva, hits it left-footed, hoisted high in towards the area. Ben Davies is there, as was Kiefer Moore. Edge of the area, comes back towards De Silva, tries to take it over the head of Anderson. Anderson with a block, and then Anderson falls forward. And then England wanted to take the quick free kick, but they were unable to do so. And then they'll just wait. But very, very comfortable for England.
Yeah, that's the moment where you just say to the referee, just let it breathe for a second, because there was an opportunity for Bukayo Saka there to break, and 2 England players had broke the lines. They were away. It was a 2v1 situation at the back. If Bukayo Saka had have picked his head up, I'm sure Wales were very thankful to the referee there.
So England take that free kick square. Gahey almost comes to a standstill. His forward ball then to Declan Rice. Declan Rice strokes it towards John Stones. Faroe Islands 2, Montenegro 0 is a latest score in Group L. Stones back towards Declan Rice. Spence has actually gone forward from left back. He's gone inverted over the halfway line. Declan Rice actually is filling in as then Stones hits a long searching ball over the top of De Silva and then out towards Saka.
The movement's brilliant from England, it really is, and people are moving into different positions, as you said there. Declan Rice understanding that Jed Spencer's moved forward, Anthony Gordon's nipped inside, and then he becomes the left back, and then you're set up in a structure. If the ball turns over, you're still in positions to be comfortable, and it's very, very impressive from England.
Stones gets the ball away from Moore, runs in field, towards Gordon. I think Stones may have been tripped off the ball. He complains. England still have it. Rice is over the halfway line.
But then Declan Rice realises Stones is caught out of position in midfield. Where's he sat? He sat in centre back. It's understanding the game. It's moving into positions, making sure that you're not structured too much. There's an element where you can play out of position or you can shift into someone else's position.
That's the voice of Stephen Warnock. We've also got Danny Ward with us here tonight at Wembley on BBC Radio 5 Live. 37 minutes played. Gahey out towards Gordon. Spencer's gone on the overlap. Gordon, though, will run in field midway through the Wales half. He was actually saying, I think he wanted Watkins to come short to him. Anderson now towards Rice. At the moment, Ollie Watkins is being watched very closely by Joe Roden as England go back. Here is Anderson, collects a short forward ball. And then it's hit by Declan Rice, again trying to switch play out to this right-hand side that De Silva heads up in the air, but it drops towards the feet of Saka. And now with Anderson, on that occasion, Rice had made a run off the ball. Here is Rodgers. Rodgers gets away from his man, he looks for Rice. Rice with the instant cutback, and then cleared by Rodon, and it's a late flag. Danny, when you watch it from this position, you can only just admire the movement from England.
It's been sensational, some of the stuff they've played. There's been what I'd call total domination. Wales have really struggled to get out, and when England have got the ball, they've made them pay. Okay, they've scored from 2 set plays, but they've got themselves into really dangerous areas, and like you say, the fluidity and the way that the team's been moving at the top end of the pitch has been very impressive. In
Group H, Cyprus 0, Bosnia 2 is another latest score. Tony Livesey takes over tonight at 10. Laura McGee will take you through the night from 1 o'clock. And on Saturday's 5 Live Sport, it features the Super League Grand Final, Hull KR against Wigan. That is live at Old Trafford. As John Stones gets himself in front of Moore, lifts it forward. Ben Davies, the Wales captain, towards De Silva, a former England youth and under-21 international. As here is Watkins on the score sheet tonight as England lead 3-0. Anderson takes over. Konsa surges forward from right back. Konsa's cross is a deep one on the run over the head of Gordon. Spence, though, will keep the ball in play over on that far side, and he finds Gordon level with the area. Gordon with the cross. Watkins was there. Davies did well to head it away under pressure. Helped further away by Brooks. Falls to Anderson. Thought about the shot. Wouldn't sit for him. Lays it back towards Gordon. England, though, are still knocking on the door. 6 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live. Passing the ball sharply and swiftly as Stones out towards Konsa. Konsa, his first 2 England starts were at right back. He's in that position again. Rodgers to Anderson and across the face of goal, and then spooned up in the air at the far post by Ollie Watkins, and he might well have got an injury in the process, but England came close to yet another goal here.
Yeah, you've just spoke about it there, Deno, the speed in which England are moving the ball, but the movement is just brilliant from England. And this time as it goes through, just looking at Ollie Watkins here, looks like he's in serious pain, but he should score at the back post. But the movement's incredible from England, it really is. But Deno, there's real concern here about Ollie Watkins. They're calling the physios on straight away.
Well, it was a quick ball in, first time from Anderson on the right-hand side, and as he's arrived, he's clattered into the post, hasn't he, Ollie Watkins? And so 5 minutes before half-time, we're going to have a stoppage, and they'll only hope that it's not a serious one. So stoppage in play with England leading Wales by 3-0 as we find out the latest with Scotland-Greece with Pat Nevin and Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, still 5 minutes to go to half-time here as well. Scotland 0, Greece 0, and Pat Nevin, former Scotland winger, with me. Scotland being a bit more positive now.
They are. They're actually getting a little bit of hold of the ball in midfield, which they weren't doing before. They haven't got Billy Gilmore playing. When they have him on the ball in the midfield, they can control a little bit more of the game. Against the Greeks, they've not been able to do that because there's no player in the midfield that can take it as easily as him. Interestingly, the Greeks they're playing 4-2-4 against Scotland here, but that 4 that they've got up front, Scotland haven't been clever enough to break through and pass through that line. Well, they haven't been until the last few minutes, and suddenly Scotland, just once or twice, are getting through, which has heartened these fans a little bit.
See how it goes. 5 minutes to half-time. Scotland 0, Greece 0.
Thank you, guys. Ollie Watkins is at least back on his feet, which is a relief, I think, to all concerned.
Yeah, it certainly is. There was a real worry when he clattered into the post that it was a little bit more serious. He looks very ginger, doesn't he? Walking gingerly when he's walking across, and this is the first time we're seeing it on our monitors in front, and it's his knee that ricochets off the post, and just the speed in which he's moving forward. He should score the opportunity, but it's the clash with the post, and that will be sought.
Just under the kneecap, I would imagine. Although when I saw Danny today, as I'm no medical expert, I said to Danny, I said, "How's the shoulder?" And he said, "It's the elbow." So I'll leave you, Danny, to work out how how it goes there. It was definitely the knee, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the knee. Yeah, I'll back you up on that one.
It wasn't the ankle,
Wasn't his head, wasn't his shoulder, wasn't his elbow. I nearly compounded my error then by tapping him, and then I realised that his injured elbow is actually the closest arm to me, so he'll be staying away from me for a bit longer. Austria 5, San Marino 0 is the latest score in Group H, and we're about 2.5 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live as Davies comes forward for Wales. Brooks with the cross, stands it over from the left-hand side. Wilson tries to get on there. Here is Wilson on the edge of the area. Wilson goes left-footed, and it was an effort that is well off target and a goal kick, but would probably go down as their first target at goal.
Yeah, it's an effort at goal from Harry Wilson as he comes inside on his left foot. He's trying to bend it almost like Bukayo Saka. He's probably 10 or 15 yards further out. We know he's got a wand of a left foot, but even by his standards, that would have had to have been an absolute world-class shot, a worldie of a strike to beat Jordan Pickford from that range.
His last goal was in that game against Belgium back in June, as England are going to take the goal kick. And it's Gay, he just taps it back towards Pickford, all in yellow, away towards our left-hand side.
Just keeping an eye on Ollie Watkins in the centre-forward position. We'll come back to that, actually.
Because England are giving the ball away. Here is Brennan Johnson. Back towards Nico Williams. He's got Gordon in pursuit. Far side. Johnson with a cross in towards the penalty area. It will reach Brooks, slips it into the path of keeper Moore, goes for the first time effort, cleared away only as far as Brooks. He's closed down very quickly. Up in the air it goes. Wales are still threatening. Bouncing ball inside the penalty area, and Rodgers is the one who gets it away. Shot then comes fired in, back in from Nico Williams. Cross then from the left by Brooks. Watkins has come back to help out. Williams lifts it again forward and then hooked to safety by Bukayo Saka, but only as far as Rodon, and probably as we're into the last 60 seconds, that was the first bit of pressure that Wales have been able to exert on the English defence.
Yeah, a little bit of an up and under, a couple of balls into the box and made life difficult for England, but the point I was making, Deno, and he was involved there, was Ollie Watkins. He can't run. He's really struggling to shake off the injury, and you just wonder whether Thomas Tuchel will just take it out of his hands and make a substitution.
Well, Harry Kane is listed, as John said earlier, as one of the substitutes, but he hasn't been able to train during the England get-together when they were at St George's Park on Monday. He's been following his own individual programme. They have penciled in a return to training on Saturday, so he wouldn't necessarily come off the bench despite being named as those substitutes. Austria now, San Marino 6-0.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford's just been put through his paces on the touchline in front of us by one of the technical staff, and making sure that he's ready if he's needed. But maybe there's a couple of minutes now added time, whether they'll just wait and see that out and make that substitution at half time, but why take the risk?
Yeah. He's also talked about the possibility of Jared Bowen playing as a number 9 too, as Davies, the Welsh captain, hits the ball long, looking for Wilson. He's held off though by Spence, who heads the ball out towards that far side, still being tracked by the Fulham player, pens him in down towards the corner flag. There is 2 minutes of added on time, which we are now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live, with those 3 goals coming in the opening 20 minutes for England, as Rodgers spreads it forward, and now Saka, and he's got runners off the ball. Saka in towards the penalty area. Rodon though heads it away. Moore almost turns into the trouble, into the shape of Anderson. Loose ball picked up by Stones. Spence knocks it forward towards Gordon, level of the area. Gordon now goes on the outside of Williams, tries to play it in low. Williams recovers, gets the block in, corner kick.
Yeah, he does well, Nico Williams, because he doesn't fall for the cross into the box, and Anthony Gordon tries to then run him down the line. recovers well, gets the challenge in. It's been a thankless task for Nico Williams in that right back position. It hasn't been Anthony Gordon, it's been Jed Spence who's been running at him.
Now Denmark, this is in Scotland's Group C. Belarus 0, Denmark 3. Rasmus Højlund has got that third goal. That would take Denmark onto 7 points. Scotland, Greece, currently drawing 0-0 at Hampden, would move on to 5 and 4 respectively in that live league table, as Rice swings over the corner kick from the left-hand side, and looking to meet it was Mark Gahey. But I think the referee's blown his whistle, and it'll be a free kick to Wales.
Well, I'm wondering what they've seen here, because the assistant referee put his flag up almost like it was offside, but you're thinking, well, he can't be offside. Then there was no foul in the penalty area, and it did come off the head of Rodon. So, it was Ben Davis who flicked the ball. Great spot, actually. I'm seeing the replay. It just kisses the back of Mark Gahey and goes out for a goal kick to Wales.
There is indeed the half-time whistle. Latia Cyprus 1, Bosnia 2 in Group H. But England have been excellent, really have. They have put Wales to the sword, and Wales at times have struggled to live with England in this first half. They've only had a Wilson effort off target, but it's been all England. And the mood was set right from the start, where Gordon had an effort that was saved by the feet of Darlow, went behind from the resulting corner kick. Gahey kept the ball alive. Morgan Rogers' first-time effort swept past Darlow for the opening goal after 2 minutes. Rogers then with a cross from the right, Watkins with a tap-in, close range. That was after 11 minutes. And then, as John said, a cracker from Saka, left foot curling into the top left-hand corner after 20 minutes. England, and they could have had more. England then at the break lead Wales by 3-0. Aaron.
Ian, thank you so much. England 3, Wales 0. Stephen Warnock alongside us for commentary this evening. Dominant from Thomas Tuchel's 3 Lions. 8 goals in 1.5 games of football.
Yeah, you said before the game, how do you create an atmosphere? And I said you play fast attacking football, you get people off the seats, and that's exactly what we've seen from England, whether it's been Anthony Gordon, Bukayo Saka, Morgan Rogers, whether it's been the tenacious players in midfield and Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson winning the ball back. There's been a mixture of everything from England. It's been such a complete performance, but Wales they haven't been able to play their game because of the dominance of England. It's been absolutely superb.
Also alongside us, the Wales goalkeeper Danny Ward. And Danny, I mean, tell us what you've seen and what it potentially does with a big game coming against Belgium on Monday for mentality.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Aaron. You know, it is all about mentality now this second half. Really tough first half for Wales, but maybe half a yard off it, and I put that down to England being so sharp. If I'm being honest, they've looked quicker, they've looked really inventive at the top end of the pitch. The 2 boys in midfield have controlled the game. And every time Wales have managed to get hold of the ball, it's not been for very long. England have suffocated them, and it's hard to get out. You know, it's hard to get out. Maybe the use of the big fella up front, big Kiefer Moore, might help Wales get up the pitch. But you know, even if you're trying to get it into him, the pressure England have put on Wales' backline, it's going to affect the quality going into him.
Just that one attempt for Wales, that Harry Wilson effort, which was smashed straight over Jordan Pickford's crossbar. Pickford's been a real passenger in this game so far. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Stephen. England leading Wales here by 3-0. We are heading to Hampden. It's half-time. Scotland taking on Greece in their World Cup qualifier. Pat Nevin is alongside Gavin Wallace. Gavin.
Yeah, it's 0-0 at the moment, Aaron, and to be honest, you're talking about passengers and creating atmosphere. Scotland very much a passenger in this at the moment. No atmosphere inside Hampden. The Greeks' best chance came on 9 minutes as Bakasetas got played in really nicely into the box. He then just puts this low ball across the corridor of doubt, and Pavlidis, he had to tap it in, Pat Nevin, and he just didn't. But Scotland really struggling tonight.
He'll go to bed tonight, Pavlidis, and think, what did I do there? England fans will remember him. He scored 2 against England at Wembley, and he's a very, very good player. But I'd actually made a complete mess of that there. And for about 25 minutes, utter domination, total and complete domination by the Greek side. So much so that this place in here, Hampden Park, was silent apart from the Greek fans, the small core of Greek fans on the left-hand side. Scotland's players that you want to have an effect. McTominay, if you're doing the commentary, you'd hardly have mentioned his name. Similarly, John McGinn, not getting beyond anyone. Gannon Doak, we know he's a good player, but on the left-hand side, he just can't get to the byline at all. And when he gets there, he's right-footed, and he doesn't seem to be able to get a decent cross in there when he gets there. So all Scotland's big hopes, and I would add one other one to you just now. Adams up front has been a great player for Scotland, holds the ball up well. However, against Kouliarakis and Mavropanos, two very good centre-backs, he's not got a sniff.
Just one very quick question, Pat. Do Scotland then at half-time move Ben Doak over this side and put John McGinn on that far side, so Ben Doak doesn't have to cut in, because he's looking really uncomfortable on that left-hand side cutting in. He doesn't quite seem so sure what to do.
I think you probably have to adapt it some way. Whatever you do, you have to get Ben Doak over on the right-hand side, because he's the one out ball that Scotland have got. He's got the pace to beat just about any player, any team. So get him on the ball in the last third, but preferably on the right-hand side. So I think Stevie Clarke might be thinking of that, but he has to look about and see he's got the right players to play. Is McGinn having enough of effect? He can play on the left-hand side as a midfielder, but there's lots of other questions. There's another big question I would ask, and it's a strange one, because you're looking at the Scotland players and they're looking at the technical players that we've got. We've not got anyone holding the ball. Billy Gilmour in the midfield is better than anyone else Scotland's got holding the ball. I guess a good technical side that have got all the possession against you, you need to make good use of your ball. Somehow, I think at some point we'll need to get Billy Gilmour on this pitch too.
Big changes we expect at half-time then, Aaron, as Scotland are just not with it tonight. They can't deal with the 4-2-4 that Greece are playing as well. But at half-time here at Hampden, Aaron, Scotland 0, Greece 0.
Yeah, not a good first half for Scotland. Pat, stick with us. I mean, are they deliberately standing off Greece, Steve Clarke's side? Is it a case of hitting on the break and not putting the pressure on, not going for that press?
Oh, I'd love to say that, Aaron. But sadly, I can't. They're playing against a team that is better technically than them just now. Now, I've watched Scotland-Greece. This is the third time I've seen them in a short period of time. And each time Scotland have been second best in terms of technical ability, being able to play out, comfort in the ball, playing from the back. All these areas, Scotland are inferior to the Greeks. Now, I think the Greeks are considered a better team, in the rankings than Scotland are. But it looks a long way apart from both of those teams just now. However, the upside of it is Stevie Clarke's managed that before. We've played against teams that have had more of the ball, that have been better teams, that have looked better on the ball, but have held out and battled and somehow found a way. So it doesn't matter how it is, how you get through, how you manage to hold on. At some point at the end, maybe Scotland get a corner kick. Scotland are good at that sort of thing, at set pieces. Maybe that'll be the thing, or the one breakaway goal. Well, Stevie Clarke in the past has made some phenomenal changes late in games. I remember one away from Norway, and Erling Haaland went off the pitch. There was very, very little time to go. Scotland were 1-0 down. 2 late changes. Scotland get 2 late goals. Or am I dreaming?
I know you're a man for a stat, Pat. Greece managed more XG in the opening 14 minutes against Scotland. That's 1.03 than they managed in the entirety of their previous game against Denmark. That at 0.17. Scotland is currently sat at 0.06, just for your records. Yeah. It's been a lean night.
It has. There's a whole other bunch of stats that you could throw at that are not good for Scotland. But as we all know, there's one major stat, and that is 0-0 at the moment. And I think the two managers will be walking in there, and the two sets of players will be walking in there, and the Scots will think, thank goodness, we can regroup, we can rethink, we can maybe adapt it a little bit. And Scotland really haven't had anything close to a half a chance.
Pat,
anywhere near it.
I'll leave you this one from Nick McPhee on the BBC Sport website. It says, in the midst of an exhilarating watch, I've realised the electronic sponsor boards at Hampden have spelt Dunfermline wrong, unless there's a place called Dunfermline. So look out for that in the second half. Pat Nevin alongside Gavin Wallace at Hampden for us. That game, by the way, it was also live on BBC Two if you're struggling to settle down this evening. Radio Scotland and BBC Sounds. Elsewhere in Group C, it's Belarus 0, Denmark 4. A brace for Rasmus Højlund and a goal for Manchester United's Patrick Dorgu. The Netherlands also leading Malta in Group G. That courtesy of a Cody Gakpo penalty. Second halves to come shortly, and we'll be back as well here at Wembley for the second half of England against Wales in the company of Stephen Warnock, Danny Ward, John Murray and Ian Dennis. But first up here on 5 Live, it's time for the BBC News with Ryan Dobney.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hamas has declared an end to its war with Israel and the start of a permanent ceasefire as the Israeli cabinet met to formally approve the deal. The landmark agreement, brokered by President Trump, will see Hamas free the remaining Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners, Israeli troops withdrawing from parts of Gaza, and more aid entering the territory. Qatar's played a pivotal role in it all, and its foreign affairs spokesman is Dr. Majed Al-Ansari.
This is an ongoing negotiation. It's an ongoing technical negotiation over every piece and every point of data when it comes to the agreement between both sides. This is not new. It has always been the type of negotiation we have been expecting to hold between both parties. The devil is always in the details, but we are quite optimistic that we have a strong document in hand that was signed this morning.
The former Radio 1 DJ Tim Westwood has been charged with 4 counts of rape. He also faces 9 counts of indecent assault and 2 counts of sexual assault. The charges relate to 7 women, with the allegations spanning from 1983 to 2016. The government says 26 illegal migrants who crossed the Channel in small boats have now been returned to France as part of the one-in, one-out agreement. People considered to have a case for asylum will come over in return for those sent back. A BBC investigation's found young children, one aged just 4, are bringing knives into school. Data from all 41 police forces in England and Wales outlined around 1,300 offences on school or college grounds every year. Wes Cunliffe, an anti-knife campaigner, joined Drive earlier on.
Education is key. Reaching out to people who's been through this kind of scenario to send a real good message to the young people and not be blunt about it, really blunt with them and say, this is where it goes if you decide to go down this path.
And a man who forgot to cancel his direct debit to the People's Postcode Lottery has won £125,000 in its latest draw. James Adams told the BBC his girlfriend wanted him to ditch his subscription to save money for their wedding.
And they are heading back to Old Trafford, and the grand final beckons.
The Super League Grand Final 2025.
Old Trafford, Wigan Warriors v Hull Kingston Rovers.
I don't really get nervous or anything like that.
It's a piece of magic from Bevan French.
Obviously, to get into them big games again and turn that step further.
Lewis started it, Lewis finishing it.
What a fantastic try that was.
The Super League Grand Final 2025.
We've got a great 80 minutes coming up.
Saturday from 6 on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen live with the BBC Sounds app. This is 5 Live Sports with Aaron Paul.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, welcome back to Wembley. Second half, we've got commentary to come of England against Wales, where the Three Lions have a commanding 3-0 lead. We'll also have updates from Hampden, where it's Scotland 0, Greece 0 in that crucial World Cup qualifier. But first, the Rugby League and St Helens have announced that head coach Paul Wellens will lead the club after just over 2 years in charge. Our Rugby League reporter Matt Newsom joins us now. Matt, was this a surprising decision by St Helens?
No, probably not. I think Paul Wellens has been under an awful lot of pressure this season, and he's a club legend with it. So it's one of those that it's kind of got a very bittersweet feel for it for Saints fans. One, they're devastated that one of their kind of heroes hasn't quite worked out for him, and also, but that he was under an awful lot of pressure and faced an awful lot of scrutiny from fans this season because it just hasn't kicked on as they hoped when he took over from Christian Wolff. He took over from Christian Wolff and they'd won 4 Super League titles in a row. They've been unable to retain the trophy. They've been able to then regain it, and worst of all, their biggest rivals Wigan have gone on and kind of picked up 2 of the last 3 trophies and are on course potentially to pick up a 3rd. So it was always a tough ask to succeed Christian Wolff, but not even his kind of club legend status has been able to save him here.
Take me back to that defeat on Saturday against Hull Kingston Rovers. Saints being beaten 2012 in that semi-final. How much of a sort of an impact did that result have on his future and the ultimate decision by the board?
Yeah, I think essentially he had to win a grand final this year or he was gone. So the raw fact is that it's intrinsically linked to the decision for him not to be involved with St Helens anymore. I think the squad he inherited had obviously won all these trophies in a row, but it was an ageing squad. It's a squad that has advanced in age since, and it's been very difficult with him, complete with injuries as well, and maybe some recruitment that hasn't been too hot. Wonga Blake last year, the Fijian, is coming from the NRL, is a prime example of that. A lot of money spent on players that haven't performed. He just hasn't been able to knit things together. So there's little green shoots this year, some lot of really good young players starting to come through, but in the end, as I say, it just hasn't come together in the way that they hoped, and obviously it's a really sad end of a 17-year, 18-year association for Paul.
England heading back out onto the pitch here at Wembley. So very quickly, Matt, where do you expect Helens to go next in their search for a new head coach?
Well, there's a very good head coach who's probably on the market after Salford's demise, and that is Paul Rowley. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went for him. He's got a real track record in turning clubs around, particularly from really tricky situations. He's pretty thrifty in terms of how he goes about things as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the frame. They might go to Australia. They've got the pull, the cachet of bringing an Australian coach over. It's very much an integral appointment because the likes of Wigan and Hull KR have made great strides.
Matt, thank you so much. There's more on the BBC Sport website and app. Just about to, I was about to say get ready for the second half. England are out on the Wembley turf. Wales aren't yet, but I'll hand you back to your commentary team of the Wales goalkeeper Danny Ward, alongside Stephen Warnock, the former England fullback, and first our correspondent John Murray.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Yes, the red shirts of Wales are just appearing from the mouth of the tunnel. England already out there, white shirts with a blue trim, blue shorts, white socks. No Ollie Watkins though, Stephen Warnock, as we suspected when he collided with the post towards the end of the first half when he missed that chance. He has not re-emerged from the second half, and Marcus Rashford has been sent on to win his 65th cap, the Barcelona man, as he is on loan this season.
Yeah, and I think that's probably sensible from Ollie Watkins' point of view. Don't take the risk, but what it has done is it's brought Marcus Rashford out onto the left-hand side, and it's seeing Anthony Gordon now move through the middle, so he will become the striker in Ollie Watkins' place.
Danny Ward, Wales about to kick off at the start of the second half. What do you want to see from Wales in this second half?
Well, there needs to be a reaction, John. They have to put that first half performance behind them and try and use this second half now as fuel to get some positives for what will be the most important game next week.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about preparing for Monday night, the Wales-Belgium World Cup qualifier in Cardiff. And Wales then, David Brooks gets the second half underway, playing the ball back to Carl Darlow. No changes for Wales at the break. So England now, Pickford in goal, Konsa, Stones, Gay and Spence, Anderson, Rodgers and Rice, who've impressed again, that midfield three. Saka and Gordon wide of now Marcus Rashford, who's actually racing onto the ball now down the left wing, his first involvement in the match. Marcus Rashford, who scored the penalty for 5-0 in Belgrade. Spence curls one in, it comes off a Welsh head which deflects it right across the pitch and out of play for a throw near the corner flag. England leading by 3-0. If you've just switched onto us on 5 Live, a very impressive performance from Thomas Tuchel's side in the first half. Scored 3 goals in the first 20 minutes through Rodgers, Watkins and Saka. And England now attacking from right to left. Still thousands of people have not returned to their seats for the start of the second half. Glistening red seats under the floodlights of Wembley in all sections, and lots of movement in the stands. And the Wales team, as it started the match, Darlow, Williams, Rodon, Captain Davis and De Silva, and Cullen, Ampadu and Wilson, Johnson, Brooks, wide of Kiefer Moore. So 3-0 it is, and England with Pickford just passing the ball forward. Jordan Pickford, who has the chance, he's halfway there tonight to becoming the first England goalkeeper to keep 8 consecutive clean sheets. Back to Mark Gay, who was heavily involved, and then John Stones actually slips over as he receives the ball. Just wondered whether he seemed to take a little while to get up, and I was just worried that he might have twisted something there, John Stones, but he's okay, and England retain possession halfway inside their half. Just to let you know as well, in case you weren't listening earlier, Scotland's match, indeed Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland's World Cup qualifiers can all be watched on the BBC. So the Scotland match against Greece, which is still 0-0, second half underway, will keep you right across that during the second half. You can see that on the BBC via the iPlayer. Spence curls a pass forward. This is for Declan Rice to chase, and then Rashford receives it in a burst from him into the penalty area. It bounces off Rodon and then bounces away actually to the edge of the area where there's a foul committed by Anthony Gordon, and it's a free kick to Wales on the edge of their own D, Stephen.
Yeah, it's pretty much as you were from the first half from an England point of view, dominating the ball, making sure that they've got powerful runs from midfield. Declan Rice there just setting off, and now with the introduction of Marcus Rashford, so direct, full of confidence from the start that he's had at Barcelona, is quite worrying signs for Wales.
As Wales do play the ball down the right-hand side. This is for Brennan Johnson to chase, the Tottenham man who's been followed by his clubmate, but actually the offside flag was up and England have a free kick halfway inside their own half. What about this midfield three, Stephen, who've looked good again today against Wales, world ranked 30th, looked very good against Serbia. What were they, world ranked 32nd, I think it was?
Yeah, I like it. I like the blend that they've got. I like the way Declan Rice is allowed to move higher up the pitch. We spoke about it earlier on, the way he plays for Arsenal, but I think what Morgan Rodgers does off the ball is incredibly intelligent. He allows the centre forward to make runs, he allows the two wide players to come inside and get on the ball, and he does a lot of unselfish work off the ball, then give him the ball, and we know he's got incredible quality. My only caveat to the argument of those three playing so well together is put them up against the best opposition in the world. How will they fare against them? At the moment, it looks fantastic, and they might be able to still continue that against the best teams in the world. But there will come a point where you do need a Bellingham, a Cole Palmer to perhaps have an influence on the game as well. The great thing is, we've got the players.
And Thomas Tuchel has said, you are the men in possession, and he sent them out, and I do believe that he might well, if he could have done, played the same team to start as started the match in Belgrade, judging by what he's said to us. But certainly that midfield three is looking very smooth together, a very good understanding. England with the ball halfway inside their own half, and here is John Stones. Little pass forward to Rodgers, who drops deep. Elliot Anderson, then back to Gay, and now here's Jed Spence on the left-hand side. England without the full-backs. I think that was quite a miss. Livramento and James, who really caught the eye in Belgrade, but Ezri Konsa playing on the right-hand side, and he's making a run now down the right. Bukayo Saka scored an excellent third goal for England in the first half, but his pass is intercepted on the edge of the penalty area. Wales, who at the end of last season in the game against Belgium were 3-0 down, but that's given away. Gordon now, Gordon into the penalty area on the right-hand side, Rashford's in the middle, but Gordon's cross is blocked by the defender, Rodon behind. It's a corner to England. It could, maybe should have been more.
Yeah, poor play by Wales. Cullen gets caught in midfield with a sloppy pass, and Anthony Gordon, he's been electric all game. He tries to feed it into the path of Marcus Rashford, but he can't just quite get it past the Wales defender. But it's, again, it's direct, it's clever from England, it's a great press in midfield, it's everything that will tick the boxes for Thomas Tuchel as a manager.
5 minutes played in the second half, 5 Live, and BBC Sounds app as well to listen to 5 Live. Corner from the right-hand side, Rice is going to take this one short to Elliot Anderson. And Harry Wilson put him under pressure. However, Rice then back to Saka. Little ball into the penalty area. Rodgers with a shot, and it is rattling the crossbar, and it bounces away out of play for a throw into Wales over here on the left-hand side. Rodgers, the angle was tight there as it came into him, found brilliantly by Saka, but the shot smacked the crossbar.
Yeah, it was all about Bukayo Saka, because as he receives the ball on the edge of the penalty area, there's an element where you're thinking, he's going to shoot, he's going to do the same thing as he did in the first half, and he plays a lovely reverse ball into Morgan Rodgers, and that's the type of thing I was talking about, that unselfish running, that clever running off the ball, and the shot's not bad either, just a fraction off getting himself another goal in this game.
Yeah, he's played in the last 9 England matches, Morgan Rodgers, and he's been involved in all 7 under Thomas Tuchel. So he's started 4 and come on as a substitute in 5. Pass from Brooks for Wales, but right through the middle, and it's an easy one for Pickford to pick up. And actually Wales have committed men downfield, although the red shirts are now getting back into position, and England have not gone gung-ho here. And interestingly, Rashford coming on, but he is playing on the left-hand side, and Anthony Gordon and Rodgers furthest forward through the middle. Rice carrying it forward. Rashford's cross from the left. Here's Saka, who has to stretch, actually. Had to slam the brakes on, stretch back, and couldn't get a touch, or if he did, it was not enough, and it's out of play for throwing to Wales.
Yeah, a little bit poor from Marcus Rashford. Tries to feed it to the back post for Bukayo Saka. I always think when you're Marcus Rashford, get the defender in a 1v1 situation. You've got him in the penalty box. And one thing is as well, Nico Williams has been booked. He can't dive in, he can't commit to a challenge. You've got the perfect scenario every single time.
And England having a little look then at playing without an out-and-out centre forward. So Rashford on the left, then Gordon and Rodgers, and Saka on the right-hand side. That sort of front four. Faroe Islands are having a high old time. They're winning 3-0 against Montenegro.
I heard the surprise in your voice when they went 1-0 up, then I heard the surprise in Deno's when it went 2, and then again 3-0. Incredible night.
Puffins all round tonight. And also Austria winning 7-0 now against San Marino. Ralf Rangnick's Austria. 3-0 to England here, same pattern as the first half. Morgan Rodgers' shot hitting the crossbar. And at Hampden, what's the news with you, Gavin Wallace?
Well, it's the same pattern here, John. It's 0-0 at the moment, and Pat Nevin alongside me. Same pattern in England, same pattern here. We need to change something.
I think Scotland have... it's so easy for the Greeks to get down either side, particularly the left-hand side, getting to the byline, getting crosses in. It's supposed to be difficult to do that. The Greeks are doing it almost effortlessly. You look around the crowd here and they're going, why is this so easy for them? They're desperate for some sort of change, and I was just watching Billy Gilmour walk off the park at half-time there, and he looked to be limping, and maybe that's the reason he's not playing. Scotland need him.
Well, we'll find out as it goes on. 53 on the clock, 0-0, John.
Yes, and Denmark 4-0 up against Belarus in Hungary in the other match in that group, and therefore heading to the top of that table with the scores as they are. Sunday night we will have commentary on Scotland against Belarus. That'll be here on 5 Live. As I say, you can watch it on the BBC iPlayer. Monday night, Wales against Belgium. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Dave Edwards will bring you commentary. That should be an atmospheric evening. Certainly Craig Bellamy will be wanting a reaction after this. And then Tuesday night we'll be in Riga for Latvia against England. So join us for that. 5 Live, the place to listen to Latvia, England. Malta 0, Netherlands 2. Cody Gakpo has got his second goal of the night for Ronald Koeman's side. England 3-0 up, Wales in possession, and we are 10 minutes into the second half, and the ball is with Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Harry Wilson is there. Craig Bellamy not yet tempted to make a change. You would have thought it won't be too far away. There's Williams now. Here's a cross into the England box. Pickford doesn't come. The shot from Brooks is blocked by the legs of Pickford. First save he's had to make, bounced back out into the penalty area, and then Kiefer Moore trying on the follow-up. Could only head it up and over the top and amongst the crowd.
Yeah, well, that's the first moment of quality we've seen from Wales, and it comes from the right foot of Nico Williams. He swings in an absolute beauty of a ball to the back post, and David Brooks, he's unattended at the back post. He just tries to side foot it, just make good contact. The pace is on the ball, side foot it, let the accuracy do the rest. But credit to Pickford, he almost saved it with his thigh. Very unconventional, very difficult save for Pickford, but he's kept it out. That's the most important thing. And then the follow-up header from Kiefer Moore goes over the crossbar. That's the first thing we've seen from Wales.
Stephen Warner, former England defender. We've got Danny Ward, the Wales and Wrexham goalkeeper, with us as well. What's in your mind at the moment, Danny, about this?
Well, it's the first real bit of quality that Wales have shown throughout the game, and it's took until the 56th minute to do that. A great ball into the box, almost doing what England have done to Wales in that first half. England putting a lot of crosses in the box, got bodies in good positions, and almost putting it all reversed there. You know, David Brooks hits should probably do a little bit better. It's a great save from Pickford, but all comes from that. Have a bit of composure in the final third, a little bit of quality from Nico Williams, and the first chance for Wales comes.
Thank you, Danny. We've been able to hear from the guys because John Stones, I presume it was Kiefer Moore who collided with him, and he is being very carefully looked at. I think he's okay, Stephen. He's back on his feet. He's just wiping his brow. And just before play gets back underway, back to Hampden, Gavin Wallace.
Still 0-0, 56 on the clock. Steve Clarke and Stephen Naismith very much in a big discussion right now. Aaron Hickey, Pat Nevin is down inside the box. I think Anthony Ralston will be coming on.
I think that looks likely. It's a shame for Hickey. He's had so many injuries, missed a lot of time with Scotland, but it doesn't look as if he'll be able to carry on. It's not the change that Scotland fans are wanting here. I think, as I keep on saying, they're wanting Billy Gilmour in so they control a little bit more of the game. And I'll not hide the fact that I want Billy Gilmour on this pitch as well, because Scotland need to hold the ball and not leave it too late. Stevie Clarke makes the changes and Scotland are 2-0 down and it's too late. I don't think he'll be forgiven by a lot of the pressmen here.
Probably not. Thank you to Pat Nevin there, head of the Billy Gilmour fan club. It's 0-0 at Hampden, John.
Yes, 3-0 still here to England. John Stones has been able to trot back onto the field. The obvious concern about him, it's his first appearance for England for almost a year. It was last October when he played in Finland for Lee Carsley's England, as they were at the time. And they're looking after him as well, Stephen, with Manchester City this season. I was there at the match on Sunday. He was an unused substitute. They've just been quite careful with him. 5 starts and 1 substitute appearance so far for City.
Yeah, well, I think both club and country realise how important he is when he's at his best. He's one of the best centre-backs in world football, and he changes the way that you can play the game. So they'll make sure, lovely from Saka, they'll want to make sure that he's right anyway.
Lovely little flick. Almost got him past Ben Davies, and then he plays the pass for Konza Duranontu, but Rodon comes across the Leeds United defender and stabs it out of play into the stands on the far side. I think all of the movement has just about come to an end. I think people are now back in their places on this dry night here, autumnal evening at Wembley Stadium, as this throw-in is taken. Morgan Rogers, one of the goal scorers tonight. I suspect we might be talking to him after the match, after his first goal for England. We'll hear all of those interviews either before 10 o'clock tonight or into Tony Livesey's programme, or indeed you can search Football Daily on the BBC Sounds app and you'll be able to hear them in the morning on the Football Daily. The new Wayne Rooney show is out as well, where Wayne Rooney's going to be talking about what Steven Gerrard had to say about playing for England and how he felt about it all. I'm sure you've heard those quotes from him. Here's Spence for England. Spence into the challenge, and then Kiefer Moore as well. Spence does well to come out of that with the ball against Moore. Then gives it to Rogers. Now Saka. Saka shoots. It's deflected up and wide and behind the near post as he was looking at it for another England corner.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Danny's looking at his teammate there thinking, I hope he's okay, because Kiefer Moore goes into a tackle with Jed Spence and he just opens his knee up ever so slightly. You don't want to see him injured. So important for both Wrexham and for Wales. That is a concern.
He'll have clattered into you, Danny, I imagine. Kiefer Moore once or twice.
Plenty of time
on the training ground.
He's a big old boy. He's a tough fella to shift in the air. He's so effective in both boxes. It's just a shame that tonight we've not been able to see that full potential in the opposition's box.
Exactly so. Scored on his last 2 appearances for Wales as well, including in the winning Kazakhstan last month. So in England corner, as a result of that Saka deflected shot, Rice is going to take this one short as well, which he does to Anthony Gordon. Then it's worked back to Elliott, 25 yards out, curled in. Rodon is able to come forward and head that up in the air. We're into the last half hour of the match now, and then the cross again from Gordon. That's headed away, comes out to England as they attack from right to left, and Saka plays the ball out here to the left-hand side to Marcus Rashford. And Wales have still got everyone back behind the ball, and I think the changes are coming on. Yes, Chris Mepham is going to come on. I can see him down there. Jordan James as well at Leicester at the moment, coming on into the midfield, and also waiting to come on is Ronan Capaccio of Cardiff, the 18-year-old. In fact, it's going to be a quadruple change, isn't it?
I was going to say, have you got your stickers ready, John?
Yes, I think Ian will be peeling away to my right, as it were, as Spence is fouled near the halfway line, and that is a free kick to England. Just to mention as well, tonight I know England supporters are remembering David Lilley this evening, who was really well thought of member of the England supporters fraternity, followed England over the decades, was involved, was a fountain of knowledge, they say, with travel and tickets, and there was applause, a period of applause in the 12th minute from the England supporters to remember David Lilley. England with Elliot Anderson dancing into the penalty area, then takes the ball out, gives it to Spence. Spence drops his shoulder, but then plays it back to Declan Rice, has a look up, but uses the available John Stones. Netherlands now 3-0 up, and Manchester City's Tijjani Reinders has scored the third goal. Malta 0, Netherlands 3, as Konza tries to play it forward. That's blocked away by Brooks. And the Bournemouth man is able to turn and give it to Jay De Silva of Coventry City, top of the Championship, but his pass downfield just gives possession back to England. And Jordan Pickford comes forward and fields it and passes it forward to Elliot Anderson. So no addition to the score since the 20th minute after England's vibrant start to the match. Morgan Rogers is challenged and the ball deflects away out of play for a throw-in on the far side to England. But news from Hampden. Gavin Wallace.
And it is not good at all. Kostas Tsimikas has just scored for Greece. Scotland at 60s, at 7s at the back. It falls back out to the striker just inside the box, and Pat Nevin. Scotland have got to do better. They've got it all to do now. Yeah,
Tsimikas has come in now, unmarked completely, but this has only been a matter of time. This is of no surprise to anyone at all who's been watching this game. Greece have got into the byline time and time again with minimal effort, and it was only a matter of time before something fell right to them. Tsimikas with his right foot scores it, and 1-0 now. Scotland had made a change, had brought in Gilmore just a few moments ago along with Ralston when he came on for Hickey. It's not had a positive effect yet.
All too easy to do, John. Scotland 0, Greece 1.
Thank you very much. Not the news that Scotland supporters wanted to hear, particularly with Denmark winning 4-0 away against Belarus. Right, this quadruple change. The captain, Ben Davies, is coming off after winning his 99th cap tonight. Harry Wilson, Ethan Ampadu from the midfield, and Nico Williams as well, who is on a yellow card. So Josh Sheehan is coming on into the midfield. And as I said, Ronan Capacchio, the teenage Cardiff defender, Jordan James into the midfield, and also Chris Mepham, the West Brom defender as he is now. So a quadruple change from Craig Bellamy. I'm sure now Craig Bellamy, as he will have done actually throughout the course of preparing for this match, now very much thinking of Monday night in Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely, and then obviously bringing fresh legs in as well. It's been awfully difficult for the Wales players to move across the pitch in the way that they have, and the way that England have moved the ball. It's very tiring to be shifted from side to side, so you do need fresh energy on the pitch.
3-0 to England, and with those changes made, England have the ball in the central third of the field with the two central defenders. John Stones, who gave an excellent interview to Ian earlier this week about just how his injuries got him down last season, to the extent of thinking that he might actually have to give up playing the game. But Stones now playing it forward to Rogers. Saka, lovely turn and pass from Rogers into the path of Saka, who crosses now looking for Rice. That's headed away to the edge of the area where it's cleared away by Johnson, but only back to Elliot Anderson. But it's back to Hampden because Gavin Wallace.
Christie has scored for Scotland, John. It's now Scotland 1, Greece 0. Although, hang on, wait now, there's a goal check on this. I'll talk you through the goal. There may be a handball, but Christie took the corner initially. It gets recycled. Christie just floats back into round about the penalty spot, Pat Nevin, and slots home. It's a really great finish on the half volley, but there's a VAR check.
There is a VAR check. I cannot see anything wrong with that, and that's not being biased.
No.
Well, it's 3 or 4 times yet. Can't see a thing wrong with it. They're trying hard to find something, but what a difference it would be for Scotland. Just when you went away, Scotland were 1-0 down just a few moments ago, and I said to Gavin, Scotland will play better now. No surprise whatsoever. You go up the field, get a corner kick, they've got the ball in the net, but we're still waiting to find out if it's going to be a goal. And you know as much as we do, John, that when you wait a long time, the longer you wait, the more you fear.
Bakasetas is still talking to the referee just now. There's 1 or 2 actually from the Greece side. Just as the referee's trying to explain it, I think there might have been a push on someone somewhere, is what they're trying to say at the moment. But they're still checking. If it's that bad, you would think now that the goal will probably be chalked off. The ball's still on the centre circle. Andy Robertson, Pat Nevin, is now on his way over for a chat with the referee.
I think the referee's enjoying being the centre of attention just now. We'll get back to it when we eventually find out what's going on here.
Fingers crossed. At the moment, John, it's Scotland 1, and the goal's just been given. That's it confirmed. Scotland 1, Greece 1.
Crucial moment for Scotland potentially. So 1-1 at Hampden, 3-0 to England here against Wales. in this friendly, in inverted commas, international, and a corner to England that Rice is going to take to the back post. Stones, I think he might have committed the foul there. He did. The defender went down, and it is given as a free kick. Right, we are halfway through the second half here at Wembley Stadium with the Wales supporters, the Red Wall as they call them, making a bit of noise and trying to encourage their team, who are 3-0 down. But for the remainder of the commentary, it is Ian Dennis.
It's a red wall with a lot of bare-chested bricks, because the Wales support are making a real racket. They've taken off, a lot of them have taken off their tops and they're swirling them around their heads. So around 7,000 have travelled from Wales, and their support is extremely boisterous despite the scoreline, as Wales have made a quadruple change and England likewise are going to do the same. We're going to see Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, I did see Nico O'Reilly, but Nico O'Reilly all of a sudden is not among the four, but instead we're going to have Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Jordan Henderson. And for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, his last England appearance was 6 years and 328 days ago. That's some gap.
It is, but he's playing well at the moment, and one thing we know about Thomas Tuchel is he knows the player, knows his capabilities, and often when you have a manager who knows you inside out and knows what you're capable of doing, it can go a long, long way. But the performance of Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice in midfield, the two midfielders who are leaving the field, has been quite brilliant. It's been superb from them. Tempo, aggressive in the challenges, front foot football, running off the ball. Yeah, superb from the pair.
So Morgan Gibbs-White comes on for Rodgers, Ruben Loftus-Cheek replaces Rice, Bowen replaces Saka, and Henderson comes on for Elliot Anderson. And maybe Danny Ward, that's why Craig Bellamy's saying, you know, you're not the rivals because we're not on an equal footing.
No, you see the quality coming off the bench here for England, and not even just in the squad. You see people who aren't even involved in this camp for Thomas Tuchel's team. You know, they've got such a big, deep pool of players with real quality that are playing at the highest level. So, you know, it's an aim for us as a nation to try and get somewhere close to that and grow our sort of pool of players. And you can see that with the youngsters coming through, like Ronan Capaccio, and there's a few more on the bench for Wales who we're hoping to try and blood in.
That's Danny Ward. Stephen Warnock is also with us, but for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it is his 11th England cap and his first since the 15th of November 2018, as Gordon chases after a ball and a back pass towards Carl Darlow, all in green. He gets the ball away, but it's not a record. The record for the longest gap between an England appearance is 11 years and 49 days. Ian Callaghan, 1966 he made, and then his next appearance was 1977.
Wow.
That might take some beating. Faroe Islands 4, Montenegro 0, Belarus 0, Denmark 5. That's in Scotland's Group C, where Scotland have equalised. You can watch that through the BBC iPlayer. We'll keep you up to date with Gavin and Pat here on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. But 71 minutes played, and England's first half goals, all three of them, remains the scoreline as Capaccio wins it, this 18-year-old defender, one of a handful of Cardiff City players, a right back in his second season at Cardiff City, as a yellow card has just been shown to Jed Spence. Not the first foul that he's made throughout the night, but he's been shown a yellow card now by the Swiss referee.
Yeah, he just had to help his teammate out there. Marcus Rashford just tried a little nutmegs there on the touchline, much to the disappointment of Thomas Tuchel. I think Thomas Tuchel doesn't like it when players are beyond your wingers and you leave yourself a little bit vulnerable to the counter-attack, and that's what happened there. But Jed Spence committed a tactical foul and felt he had to do so.
Still, the great support is evidence in that far corner, that corner of red here at Wembley Stadium. More shirts being taken off and swirled as it comes in, and the header on the far post, and a flying header by Pickford with a very strong left hand, fired back in by James for Wales. Still it remains, this is Brooks, and tries to dink the ball in towards the penalty area. I think it was Mepham who got forward at the far post, diving header forward. And Danny, just give us an appreciation of the Pickford save, not just with the save, but also his levels of concentration.
Absolutely, he's not had much to do tonight, has he, Jordan Pickford? But not even just to save, the ability to get it out of that danger area, get it high enough in the air to then allow the rest of his defensive line to recover. Impressive stuff.
Mepham attacked it, Stephen.
He did, and I think from an England point of view, they'll be just a little bit disappointed that they allowed Mepham to be free at the back post. It was a good overload by Wales to create the opportunity, but Mepham will feel like all he wanted to do was make good connection on it, and hopefully the rest would take care of itself. But credit to Pickford, he got his angles right. He was probably about 2 or 3 yards off his line, which allowed him to close the angle down. So it's a really good save from Jordan Pickford.
Lewis Koumas is going to be coming on for Wales. They're going to make another change. Is Jared Bowen. England playing from right to left, leading 3-0. White shirts, navy shorts. As the ball is knocked out by Henderson. John Stones now on the ball midway through the Wales half, finds Bowen. Wouldn't necessarily fall into the path of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He tries to win it back. It's cleared away by Roden, but England win it back immediately in the Wales half.
Yeah, they do, and it's the recovery of England players, how quickly the turnover happens, and as soon as they lose the ball, there's a sprint action to go and win it back. And I have to say, it's been very, very impressive from England in the way that they've tried to recover the ball.
The last 2 remaining substitutions are going to be made, and it's going to be Mark Harris, who's the other player to come on with Lewis Koumas as England are attacking. This is Bowen running in towards the penalty area, inside right channel. Gordon will collect it as it runs the ball away from him out towards that far side, slows it down, keeps the ball in play. And England once again in that final third keeping the ball, and Wales, all in red, are being forced to defend rather deep here as Craig Bellamy waits to make those 2 changes with just over a quarter of an hour remaining. Rashford, half-time substitute, looks up, sends over the cross. Gordon says he was being pulled back by De Silva. The referee's not having any of it, as we will go to Hampden and Gavin.
Still 1 each at the moment, and to be honest, Greece have had a couple of really good chances, Ian, but Pat, they've made wholesale changes now. They brought on 3 subs, trying to change things up a bit.
They have. Carrot says has come on, and he's a player that gave Scotland a very, very tough time last 2 games, so he's on to try and change it for Greece. It's got a much more open game now. Scotland seems to have really risen in belief here, and also a little bit of fight about them now. A much more even game for the last 10 minutes anyway.
That Hampden roar is back now. 74 on the clock. Scotland 1, Greece 1.
With Ben Davies and Declan Rice off the field of play, it means that Jordan Henderson and Carl Darlow are now the captains out on the pitch for England and Wales respectively, as Koumas comes on for Johnson, and Mark Harris of Oxford United, the former Cardiff player, will replace Kiefer Moore. And I guess, Danny, with that key game against Belgium at Cardiff on Monday night, it's sensible now just to rest some more players ahead of that game.
It is, and I think you can definitely say that these boys will be involved in that massive game on Tuesday. Very sensible. Listen, it's 75 minutes in the bank for these 2 boys, just over an hour for the other boys, and it's maybe needed in some cases. Some lads might not be playing as regular as they'd like to, but the bigger picture is, of course, it's disappointing this evening so far, but the real business end is Tuesday.
Despite the scoreline, you can hear Welsh voices here at Wembley, and you will certainly hear them on Monday night for that key World Cup qualifier. Wales against Belgium. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Dave Edwards will bring you commentary here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kiefer Moore, who scored in his last 2 against Liechtenstein and Kazakhstan. He's never scored 3 in a row for Wales, and unable to change that statistic here tonight. But Wales are attacking with Brooks, who sends over a delicious looking cross, and the header from Mark Harris just over the crossbar.
It was just a little bit of a push. The referee gave a foul there. Harris, extremely clever run in behind, and just got on the shoulder of John Stones, and I thought, well, how's it missed John Stones? And it was just the tiniest of pushes in the back from Harris as he put the ball over the bar, so it wouldn't have counted.
I think we are approaching almost 17 hours of football since Wales scored away from home in a friendly. Their last goal that they scored in an away friendly was Montenegro in August 2009. They failed to score in their last 10 on their travels. It was 938 minutes at kick-off, as Craig Bellamy actually got their last goal in when they would won away at Denmark back in 2008. Since then, they've lost in each of their last 11 on their travels. But Craig Bellamy has certainly done an impressive job since he took charge. Appointed in July 2024, and they still harbour hopes of qualifying for the World Cup, as Austria have rattled in an 8th goal in Group H. Austria 8, San Marino 0. But the 3 goals that we've witnessed here tonight, all scored in the opening 20 minutes, remains the difference between these two sides with 12 minutes to go.
I love watching Thomas Tuchel's body language on the touchline, because when you watch him and things break down, he's seeing a game in his head, he's seeing a pattern of what he wants his team to play like, and when it does break down, he gets so frustrated, so angry with the way his team are playing. The standards, that's exactly what he's trying to set, what he's been brought in to do, is to take England to that next level.
Well, certainly the standards were set with that statement win in Belgrade, and that now is going to be the barometer. And to be fair to England, they were extremely impressive in the first half as they came out of the traps very, very quickly. Haven't been able to add to the scoring, as Wales, Craig Bellamy was saying he was going to use this as preparation. He thought that it would be a really beneficial night ahead of that key World Cup qualifier against Belgium on Monday night, as sometimes you can probably learn a little bit more in adversity, can't you, than say had, for instance, Wales won this game. He might learn more with a defeat than he would maybe of a victory.
I think so, yeah. After the first half performance as well, I think you look in this second half, it was important to just not go under. So far anyway, he'll be happy with what he's seen in the second half, not completely with the way we've had the ball, but it's we've had a couple of opportunities in the opposition box, and showing that little bit of desire to keep the ball out in the second half it's a positive, and it's something that the lads are going to need to address moving into the big game next week.
Miles Lewis-Skelly is going to be coming on, and John Stones is the player who's coming off. So his first England appearance in 361 days. His first under Thomas Tuchel, his 84th cap. Lewis-Skelly comes on to replace John Stones.
So Spencer's just shifted to the right back position, and Konsa
comes inside.
And that's the beauty of having Konsa in your squad. You can play comfortably at right back, he can play comfortably at centre half. Jed Spence as well, comfortable either flank, and it's just the versatility which will be key for England at a World Cup. I was just going to touch on the Wales versus Belgium game, and it's just if you are to start the game slowly against Belgium, this is what could happen. So it will change the mindset of the Wales players.
Bowen running forward, releases Gordon with a shot, an excellent block coming in from Joe Rodon. Track back with him in the penalty area, well-timed block, goes out for a throw on this near side. England still lead by 3-0. We've got just under 10 minutes remaining, and it is going to be Miles Lewis-Skelly to take it. However, before that, we're going to go to Hampden. It was Scotland 1, Greece 1. Now there's been another goal. Gavin.
And as you can hear by the noise, it's another goal for Scotland. The ball whipped in at a dangerous area at the edge of the box of a free kick, and Lewis Ferguson is the man there. It falls to him, and he just slams it home. Scotland, Pat Nevin, are in a great position.
It is absolutely phenomenal. Scotland were totally outplayed, and then when the Greeks went 1-0 up, Scotland went far more direct. Cross balls into the box. Just put the ball in there so that it slips about anywhere, can drop down, and it drops down. Ferguson finishes it. Can't believe Scotland are ahead.
Pat, what does Scotland need to do now? Hold it or keep going?
Do you know what? You really just want to hold it, but this is a very good team with a lot of good talented players. Keep playing the way you're playing just now. The game has not started yet, by the way. And it has now. It's 2-1. Hold on, there's only 10 minutes to go here.
And Lyndon Dykes now is about to get stripped, so we'll see him for the last 10 minutes here. Scotland 2, Greece 1.
So Scotland have turned it around. They have come from behind. They lead by 2-1. Remember, Denmark are winning handsomely in Belarus. It means that Denmark, top of Group C, will be on 7 points, but Scotland will match them, and they will go to 7 points if they can hang on to that victory against Greece there at Hampden. And don't forget, Scotland against Belarus on Sunday, live on 5 Live with Ailey Barber and Pat Nevin for commentary from Hampden for that 5 o'clock kickoff. And I can only imagine the bedlam as far as Hampden would be concerned when that second goal went in. Still 3-0 here for England against Wales. as Gibbs-White comes forward, stopped though by Mepham out of the central defence. Ball goes up towards Mark Harris. Still the Wales supporters sing away to their heart's content over on the far side, as we now have a lot of empty red seats that have appeared across Wembley Stadium. A number of England supporters are thinking, I'm going to beat the traffic, as here now is Capaccio. Back then towards Brooks, midway through the England half, along the ground. James has made the run forward, prodded away by Spence, now playing as a right back. De Silva passes the ball forward, an opportunity for Wales to attack here, but that is snuffed out as the block comes in from Spence behind for a Wales corner.
Yeah, he's so good in 1v1 situations, Jed Spence, so athletic, great at reading body positions and movements, never really dives in, just commits when he knows it's the right time to. An outstanding performance from him tonight, really, really impressive.
So Wales have a corner kick as they trail by 3-0 with under 7 minutes remaining. And it's a corner on that far side, the left, that Brooks puts both arms aloft. This should be an outswinger from the left-hand side, all in red, playing from left to right. It is an outswinger. It's headed up and off target by Joe Rodon, and it goes well wide. It means that this would be England winning their last 8 games in succession against Wales, with an aggregate score, close your ears Danny, of 17-1. They'll have only had a longer winning streak against Luxembourg. Andorra and San Marino are 8 successive wins. England's longest winning streak is against Luxembourg of 9. As we go back to Hampden and Gavin.
Oh, there's been another massive chance this time for Greece. Giannis Konstantelias just headed it, and I mean in ever so slightly wide. Scotland running a bit of a tightrope at the moment, but it remains Scotland 2, Greece 1.
And you can watch it on the BBC iPlayer as well, as Henderson plays the ball forward, gets it back. Spence now on that far right-hand side on the halfway line, goes back towards Konsa. There's been a fluency about England tonight, Stephen, and we're now seeing a degree of flexibility, the way that he's just tweaked his team selection.
Yeah, he has, and so often we talk about formations and systems, and we talk about a 4-3-3, and England are very much a 4-4-2, out of possession, the way the 2 forwards close down, whether that's Rashford or Henderson at the moment, or Gibbs-White when he's playing that higher position. And it just shows you, if you're well drilled in the way that you set up, and you understand what the manager is asking from you, you can achieve anything within systems. And I do think that the speed in which England move the ball, it's very much 1 and 2 touch. The first pass you see is often the correct pass.
Loftus-Cheek strokes it. Konsa passes the ball out towards that far side for Jared Bowen midway through the Wales half. Austria 10, San Marino 0. 2 goals for Marko Arnautovic in 2 minutes to take his tally to 4. We were in Belgrade last month. That's where he now plays for Red Star. And Austria 10, San Marino 0, as Gehi with a switch of play, high and out towards the far side, taken on the chest by Bowen, head down, running forward, scampering his way in towards the penalty area, as Bowen then with a foul, and that will be a free kick to Wales. What do you think that Thomas Tuchel would have made of the second half performance? Obviously they haven't been able to add to the goals. What about the actual display?
Yeah, I think it's been very impressive. I think the only blot on it will be the couple of opportunities that Wales have created, and a little bit of lapse in concentration from England. But on a whole, it's been pretty much as you were. It's been the same type of football. There's been plenty of players introduced onto the pitch, and we're still seeing the same style of football, the same intensity, and I think that's absolutely ideal for Thomas Tuchel in his preparations.
Rodgers rattled the crossbar early on. Gordon has gone close with a curling effort. However, at the other end, Pickford has made 2 important saves. That block, that first-time effort from Brooks, and then a very good one-handed save from Mepham's diving header for Jordan Pickford, who will be potentially getting his 41st clean sheet for England tonight. Would take him ahead of David Seaman and mean that only Joe Hart with 43 clean sheets and Peter Shilton at 66 are ahead of him. But also a bit of history with that record 8th successive clean sheet, if of course that is the case with 3 minutes remaining here on BBC 5 Live. and it would mean that Wales would still be looking for that first win at Wembley since 1977, that Leighton James penalty 48 years ago. The year where Red Rum won the National for a third time, Virginia Wade won at Wimbledon, and Star Wars hit the big screen for the first time. And a certain Stephen Warnock wasn't even the apple of your parents' eye. You weren't born for 4 years later. Mind you, I could say the same about myself, actually.
There's a few laughs in here.
Yeah, I'm sure there was.
Sarcastic ones.
2 minutes remaining, and England are still leading 3-0. Here is Rodon across towards that far side. There's no need to keep on laughing, Stephen. De Silva playing the ball back. Mepham goes across the back now. England just dropping off. 5 goals last month against Serbia, 3 here tonight. A good preparation for the trip to Riga that you'll hear on Tuesday night on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Capaccio passes the ball out towards Brooks. Just runs in field. Capaccio then makes that little run on the outside of him, the teenager from Cardiff City. Wales are seeing a lot of the ball now in these closing stages, but England have dropped off rather than Wales forcing England back, and as the ball goes into the penalty area, it's picked up by Pickford, and then he just releases it at the feet of Henderson, who runs forward. He scoffed at suggestions during the week when he spoke to the English media that he was in this squad as a cheerleader. Spoke to him actually for a few minutes myself earlier in the week at St George's Park, and he was saying how good it is to be back in the Premier League, as Thomas Tuchel turns away in disgust as that move breaks down for England, and now the German watches on with his hands on his hips and a little shake of the head from the 6'4" Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, well, you spoke then about England dropping off. He is not happy about that one bit. He wants higher standards. He wants them to press higher up the pitch. He wants to push Wales back as far as they can. He's marching down his technical area again, unhappy with the last 5 minutes or so, and again, that's the standards that he expects.
Well, he spoke live to John Murray on 5 Live Sport last night. We'll try and bring you as much live reaction as we can here on 5 Live before Tony Livesey takes over at 10, and then Laura McGee will follow Tony at 1 o'clock through the night. But I'm sure there'll be many a happy and contented England voice. Whether we can bring you any Wales reaction, we will. If not, it will be in the 5 Live Football Daily feed, the usual podcast from your usual sources tomorrow. But by the 90 minutes are almost up. James coming through the midfield. Jordan James on loan at Leicester, Danny's former club from Rennes. Little step over by Koumas on the far side, and Wales get another corner kick from young Lewis Koumas, only his 8th appearance. The son of Jason.
Yeah, what a player Jason was as well. But Louis Koumas is having a good start to his career as well, and there's just no room at the inn again against Jed Spence there. He is so tough to beat in 1v1 situations.
He's on loan from Liverpool at Birmingham City at the moment, is the 20-year-old. As Wales are looking for what would be a consolation in stoppage time here at Wembley as they trail 3-0, and it's lifted towards the far post. The header by Rodon. Shot comes in, but the flag is up anyway. And we are into 3 minutes of added time here at Wembley, and that end, particularly away towards the left, is almost deserted now.
I thought they'd all gone home to watch the Traitors. I don't know whether you watched it last night, Deno. What a start to that it was.
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers, just great start.
Belarus 0, Denmark 6. That's in Scotland's Group C. But crucially, Scotland are leading still against Greece by 2-1. And a reminder, Scotland-Belarus live on Sunday from 5 here on 5 Live. Wales-Belgium on Monday night. Latvia-England on Tuesday. But before all of that, we'll have WSL action. Chelsea-Tottenham at 12 and Arsenal-Brighton and Hove Albion from 2:30 on Sunday for the live football. And live rugby union, and don't forget the Super League Grand Final is also live on Saturday evening from Old Trafford, Hull KR against Wigan. So much live sport to look forward to over the coming days on BBC Radio 5 Live. But as this meeting, the 105th meeting between the two, England will be registering their 70th win, as it is just coming to a close as the ball is hit downfield, looking towards Bowen once again, into the path of Marcus Rashford, but a use of the hand by Jared Bowen, says the Swiss referee, and that'll be a free kick to Wales. Stephen.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see from where we are, but it just felt like there was almost a header from Jared Bowen. He headed it down into his hand and then fell into the path of Marcus Rashford, who thought he was going to get a shot away but wasn't given the opportunity.
Craig Bellamy spoke in glowing terms about Thomas Tuchel last night, saying how he'd studied him not just at England but also during his time in Germany. They've just had a warm embrace. You could see the respect between the two, Danny. I mean, Thomas Tuchel was saying how this was going to be a complicated match for England. They made a mockery of that suggestion with the 3 goals in the opening 20 minutes, but nevertheless that the levels of respect between the two coaches was for all to see.
I think you can say that in the 90-minute performance from England, off the ball more than on the ball. That's what I've been really impressed with. The way they've managed to hunt and packs and stifle Wales has been so impressive.
It's an 8th successive win for England against Wales, and the 3 first half goals all in the opening 20 minutes, enough to get them this victory in this friendly international. And a very, very commanding performance with those goals coming from Morgan Rogers, his first for his country as early as the 2nd minute. Watkins with a tap-in after 11 minutes. He left the field of play at half-time through injury, and then that curling effort from Saka. A lovely left-footed curler into the top left-hand corner. England did have other opportunities to increase their lead. Pickford made a couple of good saves, and for Jordan Pickford, a record 8th successive clean sheet, and a good night all round as far as England are concerned. Wales will have to pick themselves up, dust themselves down ahead of that key World Cup qualifier now against Belgium that you'll hear on 5 Live on Monday. As it's finished here at Wembley, England 3, Wales 0.
Ian, we'll talk England in a moment. We have to go straight back to Hampden because, Gavin,
Lyndon Dykes has just scored a 3rd for Scotland, a ball over the top. He takes it down in mid-air, Aaron. It was brilliantly. He's no right to get it. The defender gets it all wrong. We think it's going out for a corner. The goalkeeper comes out, spills it. Lyndon Dykes come in and rattles it home, Pat Nevin.
Do you know what? The end of this game has been absolutely extraordinary for tension. Scotland was so poor for the vast majority of this game, then went 1-0 down, and since then they've been spectacularly good. They needed to go behind. Stevie Clark's made a number of changes. They've all worked. They've controlled the game. They've got the ball into dangerous areas. They've got a little bit lucky as well. But it's absolutely incredible. These Scotland fans, although we are celebrating, although these have been 5 or 6 of the best minutes that we've had at Hampden Park for a long, long time, we still can't believe it. It's extraordinary. We are on the cusp now of an incredible position to get to the World Cup. It is unbelievable.
Fantastic. We'll go through the stats at the end of the game, but right now with 2 minutes to go, Aaron, Scotland 3, Greece 1.
Back to Hampden as soon as that one finishes. Here at Wembley, though, goals from Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins and Bukayo Saka have given Thomas Tuchel's England a 3-0 win over Wales. Straight to you, Stephen Warnock. Talk to me through that performance. Bit of a gear change in the second half, but nonetheless resolute, determined and really excellent in the first half. England flying out the traps.
Yeah, job was done in the first half, Aaron. It was about the attitude and the application to start the game quickly, to show your quality and almost have an arrogance about you to say we are the better team, but this is why we were the better team. I thought the work rate off the ball was incredible from the England players, and it sort of epitomised the performance on a whole. I thought overall England were comfortable, job done at half-time.
Danny, over to you. And you see those Wales players heading over to that red wall, which has a few bricks missing right now, but the noise they've made, they need to take heart, especially after that second half performance.
Yeah, they do, and you can see from the reaction now that they know the big game is coming next week. Obviously travelled down in great numbers with their amazing support that they take everywhere. The boys will be disappointed they've not given more to shout about tonight, of course, but the bigger picture is obviously the main thing.
Absolutely. A job well done for Thomas Tuchel's side, with some key names missing, Stephen. England without Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, Jack Grealish, Reece James, Tino Livramento, Harry Kane, Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer, Trent Alexander-Arnold. The list goes on and on and on. But that first half performance was absolutely excellent, and Thomas Tuchel's decisions in terms of his squad selection, his team selection, well, they've been vindicated.
It has been vindicated, and the names that you've just mentioned there could start a match for England. They're that good, the quality that England have. But he's got big decisions to make. His job isn't to keep players happy. His job is to come in and win a World Cup for England, and that is the difficult job he's got to do. The difficult part of it is you're going to upset people. You're going to get people within the press asking questions about your decisions. If you don't win games, there's fight back towards what you've done. But so far, the big decisions he's made have paid off, and it's looking, I don't want to say very promising, but it's looking in a really good shape for England so far.